What the fuck? I forget. Do we do spoilers in these or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spoilers.
Damn, this boy Corey about to take on Michael Myers. Holy shit, I don't think that's gonna go out too well for you, guy. I'll just burn it down all to the fucking ground. Not here to be another contradictory and arbitrary voice of this fanbase and franchise. What I'm going to attempt to do with this video is talk about some of the problems I have with the character motivations and the character progression through the story, and how that relates to not only their relationships with the other characters in the story, but the setting of the place. We'll all have to hope that I don't bust any blood capillaries in the meantime. So there's this kid, and his name is Corey Cunningham because Ray Skywalker was taken. Do you know the struggle? He's trying to save up for college, so he takes on a little babysitting gig. He's gonna babysit little kid Jeremy. And then this happens.
What was that?
It's much funnier than I fucking thought of it.
You see, this was an accident that was brought on by young Jeremy's actions, but you tell that to his mother. Corey is then treated as one of the town's pariahs and is cast out into the unrelenting world of social isolation. He's shown to not be particularly driven, whether that is as a circumstance of the trauma that happened to him 3 years ago or not, but you think that if you were going to go away and move to college anyway, then maybe in the interim of the last 1, 2, 3 years that this was going on, it would be a good reason for you to hightail your ass out of there. I'm only 22 years old, my frontal lobe isn't fully developed yet, and I'm definitely fucking retarded. I don't have the biggest social life in the world, obviously. Daddy never loved me, and Mommy never really showed me the time of day. That all to say, while I am no psychologist, I do like to psychoanalyze my movie characters from time to time and try to figure out what makes them human. It just doesn't make much plausible sense to me as to why a kid with this backstory and with this kind of history would stick around and want to try and make things right in this town. But the writers don't think Corey feels that way. He just wants to be a G. Willikers good boy and drink his chocolate milk.
Later rides his bike to the convenience store and grabs chocolate milk, but on his way out, he is approached by 4 teens.
Corey flaunts around town acting like absolutely nothing's happened and being a living, breathing, walking reminder as to the trauma that this boy's parents went through fucking years prior. And that brings me to Laurie Strode, who I want to say is probably the biggest and most important piece of this puzzle, but she only gets about 13% of screen time in this film. Here we have another character who, while not running away from fear per se, is making illogical and irrational decisions the entire running time. She's practically irrelevant, so it's not even like these obfuscated justifications for her character matter much at all. I, though, cannot reconcile with the fact that this lady wouldn't just move a few towns over. I don't think that this lady is necessarily running away from her fears and past by not choosing to live in the same town where her entire family and daughter were slaughtered in front of her. The Laurie we get in this film is a wine mom who writes books and is desperately trying to appear happy while obviously coming off as the most depressed person in any room. Like, I don't even know why I'm complaining about this. They had 4 fucking writers and they didn't even think about it that much. It's fucking stupid. Fucking, what the fuck? At the end of Halloween Kills, Michael Myers had killed her daughter and disappeared into the wilderness that is Haddonfield. We don't know what that looks like. We don't know what that, appears to be. We get no justification as to how he got away or what the circumstances of his disappearance are. But Laurie just decides to fucking move into a normal house and act like nothing is happening. It would be the exact same thing as Linda Hamilton after T2, just letting a Terminator walk away. Okay, let's talk about Allison. Can you tell me one single attribute that this woman has, other than she was in the other movies and she had a boyfriend? What does Allison like to do? Who is this lady in her free time? And why does she fall for a dupe that looks like this? The actor is actually a very handsome man, but he's making these stupid faces the entire movie. Actually reminds me somewhat of Mark Wahlberg in M. Night Shyamalan's masterpiece, The Happening. But anyway, Allison, for no reason other than she finds him attractive, is attracted to this man. And I don't know why, and I don't know why they like each other, other than they both kind of like have a distaste for Haddonfield. But I don't know why they even like each other other than that. There's a heated, tense exchange between these two characters at one point outside of a bar after Corey accuses Allison of trying to fix him. And it was the most contrived sense of drama and like trying to get from point A to B. I just don't understand why these people are in this relationship at all. I thought after giving Allison nothing to do in the previous two films that this was their way of making her Laurie protege more regal, and actually giving her a reason to be in the story other than, oh, she likes Corey, but then she doesn't like Corey, and Laurie doesn't want her to be with Corey, and yada yada. I thought Laurie and Michael were going to fight, and Corey and Allison were going to fight. That's not what ends up happening here. Instead, all these loose threads in the script are dropped faster than you can say Jeremy. The writers seem to be throwing in concepts willy-nilly, dancing around the subject instead of following through on the thematic through line of their stories. Do you see what I did there? I'm cutting away.
Kind of like how Michael Myers should be cutting away at your characters instead of Corey Cunningham! I should go on record at some point in this video and say I do not care about imposter Michael Myers. I think that is a fine idea. You can do lots of stuff with it, but this movie does nothing with it. Absolutely fuck all. I keep hearing people talk about how good the character writing and development is in this story for Corey in particular, and Corey and Allison's relationship is a cornerstone of these conversations, but they always go back to how Corey is this like nice boy who is infected with the evil of the town, and was it always inside him, or was that like brought out by the town, and did the town's fear like also suffocate Corey into being this way? One of the feelings that I came out of the experience in the theater with was cringe, and that was just not something that I expected going in. I should say I didn't really care for Halloween 2018. Halloween 2018 felt like more of the same, but almost in a deconstructed sushi box like poke. Some hipster shit. The movie was fine overall, and I thought that David Gordon Green was a competent director. I liked things like Joe, and I generally thought the franchise was going in an okay direction, especially once I saw the trailer for Kills. I thought it just looked like another kind of fun one, you know what I mean? And I actually ended up fucking hating Halloween Kills. That movie, I remember feeling really bad after. It had terrible dialogue, really stilted direction, forced ADR. The whole thing was kind of a clusterfuck. But the whole thing was so bombastic and operatic and ridiculous that it was a good time. It was fun in hindsight. Now looking back at it, Halloween Ends feels like the depressing little stepchild that you have to watch over because Halloween Kills is already off going on doing better, cooler things than you ever did in your fucking whole miserable life. If there's any indicator for how this movie is just a complete failure on all levels, it's that myself and many others would rather watch Halloween Kills again.
I want to watch Halloween Kills.
That was my thought halfway through the film.
At least when you're watching Halloween Kills, you can laugh.
There's some fun moments.
Fucking lol. Also, Halloween Kills has the best score, even though those fucking guitars are goddamn retarded. Suck my dick!
As Corey walks home, he is spotted by Terry and his friends, who continue to mess with him, except Margot, who thinks they are taking things too far.
This is a detail that is almost never brought up again. A seemingly irrelevant and incoherent attempt to add character and drama to a situation that just plain shouldn't have any. I don't even know why any of these kids are hanging out or are friends. This group consists of fatty, daddy issues, wigger, and obligatory token black person. I've never known a group of people more diverse in terms of personality traits in my life. I know it's odd, but it just doesn't feel like any of these people have a moral center or compass that is driving them or anything that keeps them together. Except your shitty script!
While Corey tries walking away, Terry and Billy won't let him. Corey snaps and says how Terry's father hates him based on how he was talking to him at the garage. Terry and Billy then throw Corey over the bridge, where he falls unconscious before the teens flee.
None of these characters feel relatable. In fact, none of them really make me feel anything much at all. These people all talk in obtuse and very generic ways that just come across as bland and uninteresting to me. Scenes like this and the one preceding it are another prime example of where the dialogue just doesn't sound like humans are talking either.
In the darkness, an unseen figure drags Corey into the sewers. Corey wakes up in the sewers and tries to find a way out,
Wait, why didn't Michael just kill this bitch? I'm confused.
only to be grabbed by the throat by Michael.
Stop. Why is he just in the wall? So Michael Myers drug him in here and then didn't kill him and then hoped that he walked by the wall so he could grab him through the wall.
As Corey struggles to free himself, Michael looks into Corey's eyes, where it is implied he knows that Corey has killed before, so he lets him go.
Why does he do that? Why did he let him go? Why is he hoping he comes back? This dumb fuck does just come back later because the script just does what it wants and it's only helping itself.
He gets out. A homeless man approaches Corey with a knife and orders him to go back into the sewer and get Michael's mask. Corey fights the homeless man and ends up stabbing him to death.
And there you have it. There's your Michael Myers protege. A man killing another man in self-defense is equivalent to Michael Myers slashing. This actor also moves his lips in so many weird ways. It's kind of fun. I've been really trying to understand like what the writers are thinking and why y'all like this shit, but I don't know. I'll be praying for y'all. What exactly is a transference of evil? Is that a venereal disease? Can you get a shot, like a vaccine of it, in your arm? The transference of evil thing is so ambiguous, just so they don't have to explain him away as supernatural, but they also don't commit to having him just be a man either, so make up your fucking mind and quit fucking with me! So, anyway. A quick note, this scene with Laurie and Michael felt like they were dropping their kids off to go have sex. Corey starts going absolutely cuckoo and he puts on this kind of halfway decent mask and then we get the stupidest jump scare in the entire film.
She
Here,
sees
let
Corey outside
Movieverse
staring
talk
at
about
her as
it.
Michael Myers did. Laurie comes out and finds him gone.
Ready?
Suddenly she is startled by Corey who is standing behind her.
Look at this lady's face. Leave it up for a second too. So I didn't watch a single trailer for this movie before it came out because this is like these are like franchise flicks at this point. So like I didn't want spoilers, and it's almost like a Marvel movie, something of that ilk. And oh my god, I did not know that they were marketing it to be a completely different film. If you watch the final trailer on Universal's actual channel, it's terribly mismarketed, and I actually understand some of the complaints that I was hearing. It's just something to make note of. Because again, I went in blind and I didn't have any preconceived notions of like what to expect or like what this movie was going to be. I had heard that David Gordon Green said that he wanted this to be a complete different like kind of movie than the last one. He's been saying as much in interviews left and right. Last one was supposed to be more of an action movie and this one's supposed to be more of like a drama love story, but I don't know, it just sounds like a cuck thing. Okay, let's talk about this scene a little bit. Why is Michael just standing in the corner like a battered housewife? Why the fuck doesn't Michael just kill Corey right here? Oh, because Corey is strong? Bullshit! This was the scene in the theater that I knew this movie was complete fucking dog shit waste of my time. I can, I guess, also note that I really like the cave sewer dwelling location in the film. What the fuck is that? We're still not at the end of the fucking movie yet.
So this guy acts like Michael Myers and then stabs himself and then makes it look like Laurie did it and Allison sees, and that's like crazy. Because even though we've spent 2 hours with this guy and we're gonna like devote so much time to him, he just gets his fucking neck snapped by Michael Myers and that's it. It's just irrelevant now and we move on with the rest of the movie. That's just stapled on to the rest of this fucking horrible, rotting package.
Alright, let's talk about the end of this movie, how the novelization differs, and the fan reception to the film. Alright, so Laurie and Michael get in a fight, and it lasts for like 3 minutes, and then she, like, tries to, like, drop a fridge on him so that he can't move. I don't know why he wouldn't be able to just move his leg or, like, some shit. This is so stupid. Then they take his body and they grind it up at a junkyard. It's because every creative that comes into this franchise and takes over wants their story to be the most important and end-all be-all in the franchise, and totally disrespects every other thing that came before it. It's completely out of ego and self-service. And I am not just talking about Halloween here. Laurie then goes on to use the psychopath's mask as a fucking paperweight for her table. Oh god, this movie stinks! But don't take my word for it. Let's see what the people who actually like this piece of shit think. This movie was so fucking bad that I actually took to Reddit and headed over to the Halloween movies subreddit and actually had to genuinely ask the fans why they liked this. Here's a few responses I got in funny accents. It's not Oscar level character development. They're not paperweights written in just to be killed.
He fights Michael for the mask until Michael grabs his head and snaps his.
Corey's descent into madness drives the story. The side characters have distinct personalities that further his descent. Laurie's mistrust of him drives the story. Allison's love drives the story. Michael is the side character that brings it all together like a glue. That's the structure of the Halloween movies I tend to love? What the fuck are you talking about? Are you dense? Finished this one, but forgot to finish that sentence. It's now easily my third favorite in the series. What is with the fucking obsession of ranking the fucking movies that come out in a franchise? It's so fucking asinine. This is shit I was doing in middle school. It sounds like you're lining up your action figures and picking which ones are the best. Like, why does this guy even feel the need to fucking list the movies? It's not what we were talking about. I even had this freak jump in my DMs to try to explain himself like it would make a difference, but let's read it and like see what he has to say. Corey and Allison were drawn to each other because they were both pariahs in their community. Allison knew of Corey and his story for years before they met. They even spent years being isolated and surrounded by people who judged them and thought they knew who they were. On paper, yeah, all this makes sense, but I wish we would have actually gotten to see any of Allison's personality traits or Corey's and how they relate to each other, because as it stands, the writers didn't do their job and are just telling me through exposition. They were also connected by Michael, Corey at first indirectly, then directly. Allison mistook this infatuation and newfound excitement for love. It makes sense to me, and I was already invested in Allison since she was in the previous two films. Oh yeah, baby. We've reached peak cinema now. They are in the other movies, so that means this movie's awesome. Yeah, you see this shit? Oh yeah, baby. That's fucking Kino right there. So the official Ends novelization actually explains a lot of things a lot more clearly, including the transference of evil thing. But there's also this interesting stuff where Michael is out and about, and it shows how he gets away at the end of Halloween Kills, which is another issue that I just had with this movie in general. There's actually allusions to the fact that Michael isn't even like a very good driver, which kind of contradicts the first movie, but I really like this detail. It's a nice little thing. The problem with all this superfluous information, though, including from the book and other fan reactions, is that it doesn't really fix much of anything. When crafting a story in a franchise like this, if you take its main ideological figure out of it, you're going to piss off a majority of the fan base. I just don't give a shit, and I would have been fine if Corey and Allison were actually fleshed out characters that had something to do in the story other than get pushed around by the script. I don't love YouTubers who just sit around and try to backseat write everything by saying you should have done this or that, but I really do think that you guys missed a major opportunity by just having these relationships play out into a way that crescendos into a final confrontation, especially between these two characters. I mean, it wouldn't have fixed the horrendous dialogue, but it would have offered something else other than just this stale relationship we got. Allison never even acknowledges this boy's death after this moment in the movie. I mean, it took 4 writers to come up with this shit.
So that's it, huh?